Good morning. Uh, for those of you who don't know, my name is Aaron Armstrong. I'm also known as Krishno here on YouTube. And today, November 20th, is the Transgender Day of Remembrance. And if you don't know what that is, it's a day where the transgender community comes together to remember the lives of those in our community who have been murdered throughout the past year. And 2015 has been a brutal year. It's been a bad year. We set a record this year for the number of trans people who have been murdered. Just here in the United States, we had 22. That's almost 2 a month. We had a period at the beginning of the year where a transgender woman of color was murdered once a week for like 5 or 6 weeks straight. Every week. Most of these murders go unsolved. Police don't care. Society doesn't care. But we as a community care. The way that we remember the names is by reading them aloud. And tonight I'm putting on a Transgender Day of Remembrance ceremony at my school. It'll be the second year that I've done this. And so I have here a list of names of all of the trans women. There are actually some trans men in here this year who've been murdered. It's 13 pages. It's 13 pages of this. I'm destroyed every year at this day. It is an incredibly hard time for people in the community, but I feel like this is so important. It's so important to me that we come together, even if it's hard, even if it's sad, even if it's traumatic, because we're a community. These are people in our community. It's our responsibility to remember them. It's important. And so I know a lot of people who watch my videos don't live in big cities or may not be close to an LGBT center or some place that's putting on a Trans Day of Remembrance. But I feel like it's something that's so important for everyone to experience and to be a part of. And so today I'm going to have an online Trans Day of Remembrance, and I'm going to read the names. So I hope that you'll join me as we remember the lives of those that we've lost this year. Kashia Bleach, 33 years old, was shot in Aurora, Illinois on March 7th, 2015. Keisha, a 33-year-old from Montgomery, Illinois, was killed on March 7, 2015. She was shot while driving and crashed while attempting to drive herself to the hospital. Police declined to comment on the motive for the shooting, but described it as, quote, not random. Though she had performed for many years under the name, she had started transitioning in January of 2015. Tamara Dominguez, 36 years old, was repeatedly run over by a vehicle in Kansas City, Missouri on August 15th, 2015. Her brother, Alberto, offered forgiveness to the person who ran over Tamara during the argument which killed her. We are not here to judge nobody, and he, Alberto, hoped that people really feel bad for what they did. Candace Caprice, 35 years old, was shot to death in Phoenix, Arizona on August 11th, 2015. Amber Monroe was 20 years old. She died of gunshots in Detroit, Michigan on August 8th, 2015. This was her third time being shot, but her fear of police kept her from reporting the other times. Ashton O'Hara, 25 years old, stabbed to death and ran over by a vehicle in Detroit, Michigan on July 14th, 2015. Ashton went by male pronouns and identified as gender fluid. Shade Schuler, 22 years old, was found dead in a field outside of Dallas, Texas on July 29th, 2015. There are no leads on the murder and her body because of her body, which was found so badly decomposed that it took 2 weeks to identify her. India Clark, 22 years old, died of gunshots to the arms and head in Tampa, Florida on July 21st, 2015. She died due to blunt force trauma, and her death is being investigated as a murder. Mercedes Williams, 17 years old, was beaten to death in Rocky Creek, Alabama on May 30th, 2015. Her body was found on June 2nd after the person who murdered her told his father about the murder. Poppy Edwards, 20 years old, died in a shooting in Louisville, Kentucky on January 9th, 2015. "20 years old, died in a shooting in Georgetown, Guyana on July 21st, 2015. Poppy Edwards, an Indianapolis, Indiana, and Louisville, Kentucky, died of a single bullet wound to the chest at Fern Valley Motel on the 9th of January. Henry Richard Gleaves was arrested for Poppy's murder and is being held on a $500,000 bond. The Advocate, among with many other media sources, originally reported that Poppy identified as a gay man, answering to Lamar and Goddess, who likely participated in drag. It has since been confirmed by others close to Poppy and reported by various sources that Edwards identified as a female. Doisvana Munoz Robiana, 24 years old, was stoned to death in Pinar del Rio, Cuba on April 26, 2015. Elvez de Matos Jr. was 21 years old. They were stabbed and dismembered in Sao Paulo, Brazil on September 25th, 2015. Unknown, 41 years old, died of severe head and neck trauma in Alicante, Spain, on July 21st, 2015. Ty Underwood of Tyler, Texas, was found in her car, dead from 3 gunshot wounds on the 26th of January. Her roommate feels that she may have been targeted because she was a transgender woman. L.A. de Sueza, 22 years old, was found in a landfill with a knife in her neck in Campinos, Sao Paulo, Brazil, on September 30th, 2015. Waleska Reala was 21 years old. She was stabbed 27 times in Rio Grande del Norte in Brazil on September 2nd, 2015. Christina Gomez Greenwald of Miami, Florida, was found dead in her apartment on the 15th of February. She was 46 years old. The case was initially considered a suicide, but news broke on the 19th of February that police are now treating it as a homicide. Paulina died of gunshot wounds to the head and chest in Rio Grande del Norte, Brazil, on September 8th, 2015. Flower was 39 years old and was beaten to death in Parintins, Amazonas, Brazil, on August 27th, 2015. VHA dos Santos was 25 years old and died of multiple gunshot wounds in Campos del Goitacazes, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, on August 24th, 2015. Patricia was 29 years old, had an unknown cause of death, but was thrown into a bush in Santa Teresina, Brazil, on August 3rd, 2015. Yasmin Vash Payne of Van Nuys, California, was found stabbed and burned to death in her apartment on the 31st of January. The following day, her boyfriend confessed to the murder and surrendered to police. Unknown, 45 years old, died of gunshot wounds to the head in Rondônia, Brazil, on July 25th, 2015. Gabby, 26 years old, was beaten to death in Valparaíso de Goiás, Brazil, on July 19th, 2015. Erica Aguilera was 25 years old and died of gunshot wounds to the back in Dourados, Brazil, on July 16th, 2015. Vanessa Sentian, a 33-year-old from Miami, Florida, was fatally beaten on the head and neck in an apartment in Fulham, London, in England, on March 28th, after responding to a neighbor's phone call. India Nascimento was 29 years old and was beaten to death in Pernambuco, Brazil, on July 12th, 2015. LRO Dorta was 26 years old. and was decapitated. In Pernambuco, Brazil, on July 12th. Vanessa Calico was 27 years old and was stoned to death in Guiana, Brazil, on July 12th, 2015. Samaya Dalmar of Toronto, Canada, was found dead on the 22nd of February. She was 26 years old. Unknown woman died of multiple gunshot wounds to the back and abdomen in Manaus, Amazonas, Brazil, on June 30th, 2015. This is the third year in a row that I've known somebody on the list. The trans community is a small community. And it's easy to, I know I'm not the only person that goes through this. Feeling these sorts of things, feeling sadness, feeling anger, feeling guilt. I just wish I knew what to do to stop it. I spend so much time and energy and just dedication to trying to make things better for trans people. That's my goal in life. And it feels sometimes like we're going backwards, like we're sliding off a cliff, and it's hard not to get discouraged. When I think about it logically, which is hard, I understand that the reason that we are seeing a spike in the number of transgender people being murdered could actually be because of the way that they're being reported. So we may actually be seeing those numbers be going down, but the reporting of them is going up, which would be a good thing, but you would see negative statistics. So, it could be that, who knows? It does, things are getting better. Slowly, little pieces at a time. But we're not there. We're not. We have a long way to go. And this isn't just an issue here in the States. This is a global issue. This is something that is bigger than just us. But I know that we can make a difference. Even if it's just one person at a time, even if it's just connecting with one person at a time, I know we can make a difference. I know we can. That's why I do this. That's why I'm here. That's why I read that entire list by myself. That's why I need to go have some self-care now. Because if I can make that connection, if I can do anything to try and make this list smaller, I will. And I hope that you would do the same. Thank you so much for sharing this with me today and for being a part of this community and taking part in this important ceremony, this important ritual. I hope that you're well. I hope that you continue to be well. And until next time, I'm Grisham.